afternoon, everyone. I want to say thank you for joining us here today. My name is Candace Rennick. I am CUPE's National Secretary Treasurer responsible for finance and operations at the National Union. I wish that you were joining us here today under better circumstances, but instead we are here as one of Canada's most profitable companies is using every tool at their disposal to impose poverty wages and to crush our members' charter rights. Our members' only goal is to be paid for their time at work. I want to begin by speaking directly to the Canadian public and the uncertainty and the chaos that you're experiencing. We deeply, deeply regret the impact that this is having on your families and on your lives. Our fight is not with you. We do not want to be here. Our flight attendants certainly do not want to be here. But these workers, who are mostly women, have waited too long to have their issues addressed. They have been subject to unfair treatment and exploitation every day on the job for far too long. They have waited over 10 years to have their voices heard. They waited through COVID, they waited through record high inflation, and this is their moment to bargain. And now, after 9 months of Air Canada stonewalling negotiations, the federal government's decision to take away their right to have a say in their future is simply not something that we are able to support. In good conscience, we cannot look away while this happens. We cannot and we will not turn our back on these workers. We will not turn our back on these women. The pathway to a resolution here is through a negotiated settlement at the bargaining table. That is where our focus will be. That is where our focus will remain until these workers achieve a fair collective agreement. I'm now going to turn it over to our national president, Mark Hancock.
Well, thank you very much, Candace, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Hancock, and I'm the national president of CUPE, the Canadian Union of Public Employees. I want to begin with a passage that I think speaks volumes to the moment that we're in right now. The right to strike is not merely derivative of collective bargaining. It is an indispensable component of that right. That's from Supreme Court Justice Rosalia Bella in 2015, when she upheld the charter rights of workers in this country to withdraw their labor. We are here today because we are standing up for the rights of our members and for the rights of Canadians under our Constitution. The right to free collective bargaining, including the right to strike, is a fundamental right that is protected by our charter. It is an essential part of collective bargaining and for workers to have a say in their collective future. These rights have to mean something. And real negotiations cannot happen if only one side is banking on the government taking away the rights of another party. And that is what has happened here. We are here because of Air Canada, a company that clocked $3.5 billion in profit in the past few years, and a company that thinks simply paying workers for their time on the job is too much to ask. Nevertheless, we remain committed to finding a deal, and we welcome any assistance that helps us find a way to reach a freely negotiated collective agreement, an agreement that our members can ratify. We will not resolve this by taking away the rights of workers who are already struggling to make ends meet. Thank you, and we have time for some questions.
Mark, the CBC. Just wanted to know, your workers have now, and your union has instructed them to defy 2 back-to-work orders, the one that expired yesterday at 2 and the subsequent one that expired today at noon. What's the roadmap forward here if Air Canada refuses to come back to the table? Would you just continue to defy these orders? What are you willing to do? Be fined, go to jail? What's the roadmap here?
We will not turn our back on these workers. We will not turn our back on these members. We're going to continue to support those flight attendants that are walking the picket lines here at Pearson and across the country. We will do whatever it takes to get them a collective agreement that they can vote on.
When it comes to follow-up, just to Wesley, is that okay?
Sure.
Wesley, on the call last night with members, obviously there was a tremendous amount of anxiety about people losing their jobs. Are you worried about people's stomachs to stay out on the picket line and not cross back over for fear of losing their job?
Not at all. Our members have remained strong and will continue to remain strong and have reached out saying that they're fully supportive of this and this needs to happen. They're no longer willing to accept the norm.
Mark, the Labor Relations, the CIRB has declared that this is an unlawful strike. The strike is over, they're saying. You know that people will go to jail potentially and your union will face hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in fines. What's the limit that you're prepared to exert here to try to make your point?
There's no limit. We're going to stay strong. We're going to stay committed to making sure that those workers can do the job that they love doing and actually be able to afford a roof over their heads, to afford caring for their families. And if it means folks like me going to jail, then so be it. If it means our union being fined, then so be it. We're looking for a solution here. Our members want a solution here, but that solution has to be found at a bargaining table.
There has been a relative amount of goodwill from the public supporting you guys.
Yeah.
But as the strike goes on, that may change, especially since you provide these 2 kind of back-to-work orders. What is your message to the public? A lot of people who have been in that airport just out the door there for 4 or 5 days now with nowhere to go.
Yeah, and I think Candace talked to that very well. We are sorry that the public is caught up in this. We're sorry that people are stranded across the globe. That was not something that we wanted to be an impact. I was telling some folks yesterday, I'm staying here at this hotel and went outside my room to come down, and there was a family sitting on one of those round couches they have in the hallways. They had their suitcases and they looked distressed. And as a human being, as somebody that cares about folks, that had an impact on me. And we're hearing the stories and we get the frustration that folks are having. There's life-changing events happening across the globe. There's people that have lost family members. There's medical appointments. There's vacation, and people need to be able to enjoy some time in the summer with their families. And we are, as Candace said, and as we've all said, we are sorry that they are being caught up in this.
When it comes to the negotiations, when was the last time there's been contact? Have you reached out to Air Canada to say, hey, while this is all going on, can we just get back to the table?
I'm not sure when the last contact was made, but we have made it very clear that we're all still here at this hotel. And while we enjoy room service, we're not here for a holiday. We're not here for a vacation. We're here to do the work. We're here to negotiate a collective agreement. The employer is not here. We want to get a deal, but it takes 2 sides to commit to meeting and to working through some of the challenges that are facing us.
For the general public who may be confused by this, I mean, it does sound like you're sort of waiting for a call. Is that what you're waiting for?
Not necessarily waiting for a call, waiting for something for the employer to show up and say they're ready to bargain.
Would it be worth calling and say, hey, let's
I believe there has been some, we have reached out to the employer. I think Wesley did that today or last night. So
And what was the response?
I don't know. Wesley, do you want to talk to that?
There's been no response from the employer.
No response.
Nothing.
When was the last time negotiations were actually happening at the table?
That would have been Friday night. Friday night.
For the sake of the broader labor movement, and you kind of alluded to it answering Sean's question, there's no turning back here for you guys. Is that how you see it? Like this is something that you need to see to the end, either a solution through the resolution at the bargaining table or just an unending defiance of the law? One or the other.
None of us want to be in defiance of any law. That's not our...
But you are.
I'm trying to answer the question. None of us want to be in defiance of the law. But as we've said repeatedly, we're going to stay committed to those workers that are walking the line. You know, the employer has, or the government has said that we should go to binding arbitration. And binding arbitration is sometimes a solution that some unions will work. We're already in the courts on 107. The fact that the government has used 107 in this case and in previous cases sends a very strong message to my union, but also to the labor movements and the public. And we will get through the courts. I'm very optimistic that we will be successful in the courts. But as I said yesterday, and I've said a number of times, we're looking at 10 years probably before this works its way through the courts. And our members do not have 10 years to wait to have their rights restored.
Did you prepare any consequences, or what are the consequences of the continuing strike?
Sorry?
What are the consequences of the continuing strike? Just like government forced back to walk and strike continuing. What are the consequences?
We'll find out. I mean, there's a variety of options, I guess, that could happen. But again, our resolve is with those women and those men that are walking the picket line that need to be fairly compensated for their time.
Mark, what kind of support are you getting from other unions in Canada right now? Because this is a defining moment for the trade union movement in many ways.
Yeah, it's a bit of deja vu from a few years ago when we were fighting the Conservative government here in Ontario with our education workers. We're seeing support from the Congress. There was a CLC meeting last night of the Canadian Council where support was unanimous from unions, public sector unions, private sector unions, Canadian unions, international unions. It was very reassuring for Candace and I to be on that call with all of these labor leaders who not only said that they supported us, but that they would, of course, act as things approach, as we continue moving forward. So, I mean, in the union movements, there's a lot of solidarity, and solidarity is not just a word. And we saw that a few years ago when we were fighting Bill 28. I don't have any concrete examples of what that means at this point, but we're very assured that the rest of the labor movement will be supporting us through thick and thin.
Some of the flight attendants outside have said that some of their colleagues are stranded overseas because of the job action, because of the shutdown of service. Can you just tell us about some of the flight attendants who are stuck in other countries around the world with no way to get home, or are they able to get home? What is the process? I'm
going to ask Wesley to answer that, but I can assure you that we've been dealing with the employer on this, and it's the employer's responsibility to make sure that those workers are safe. We've also said that if the employer is not going to take those steps, then CUPE will make sure that those folks are safe.
Have you received any messages from the government or law enforcement about to obey the order, or do you have any kind of fine or something like?
No, there's no indication of what fines or other things may look like at this point.
You heard directly from the Labour Minister at all?
I have not talked to Patty since Minister Hayduke since Friday night.
And just to be clear on what you're saying here, is what's CUPE's direction in terms of what you're telling your flight attendants about striking right now?
We're telling our flight attendants we're going to support them. We're going to continue to support them. We're not going to abandon them. We're not going to leave them in the lurch. We are going to continue to support them. We're here to do whatever it takes to get a collective agreement that works for them and their families.
Okay, we've been listening to the union representing Air Canada flight attendants. Of course, we know the flight attendants are defying a back-to-work order and remain on the picket lines. The union saying, as part of this update, the pathway to a resolution is a negotiated settlement at the bargaining table. The union members say they're ready to face fines or go to jail if need be to support the workers. They went on to argue one of Canada's most profitable companies is using its influence to crush the right of flight attendants, saying this is their moment to bargain. And then the union taking their message directly to the public, saying they deeply regret the impact this is having on the tens of thousands of Air Canada passengers. The two sides are currently not at the bargaining table.